Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, Hyderabad University stirs the big developing story this hour. Rahul Gandhi has joined the protesters who are on a hunger strike for Rohit Vemula. We'll get you all the details. But let us begin with this hour's biggest stories in the headlines. Rahul Gandhi joins protesters in hunger strike at Hyderabad Central University, expresses solidarity with those protesting Rohit Vemula's suicide. Interim VC of the university goes on leave. Centre files a 316-page affidavit in Supreme Court over decision to impose President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. Tells court there was a complete breakdown of law and order in the state and that governor and his family apprehended grave danger to their lives. Prime Minister assures government will not do away with the subsidies but will rationalize and better target them to help the needy. Syria's main opposition party decides to join peace talks in Geneva. United Nations special envoy says he hopes for talks with opposition to begin on Sunday. And Serena Williams, who aims to win a record-equaling 22nd Grand Slam title today at the women's final at the Australian Open. First up, the biggest story that we're tracking this hour. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has joined protesting students at the Hyderabad Central University to mark the birth anniversary of Rohit Vemula today. Rahul Gandhi also joined the protesters last night where he took part in a candlelight march. Now Rahul will be taking part in a day-long fast along with the students. Meanwhile, just hours before Rahul's visit to the campus, the interim Vice-Chancellor Dr. Vipin Srivastava went on leave. He had taken over as the interim VC after the Vice-Chancellor Appa Rao went on leave amid protests from the students over the death of the Dalit scholar. Now, this is Rahul's second visit to Hyderabad since Vemula was found hanging in the varsity's hostel room. Congress has been demanding the sacking of HRD Minister Smriti Irani and Union Minister Bandaru Dattatreya and also the removal of Vice-Chancellor Appa Rao in the wake of the suicide. The activists will also hold a march in the national capital against alleged discrimination in the country on the basis of caste. Now, this march will begin from Mandi House and culminate at Jantar Mantar. And on to news from the Northeast. Well, the centre has filed a 316-page affidavit in the Supreme Court defending its decision to recommend a president's rule in the state. The centre has blamed the former Chief Minister and the Speaker of the state of conducting a communal campaign against the governor and has also alleged that there was a complete breakdown of law and order there. The former Chief Minister Nabam Tuki has, however, blamed the BJP of pre-planning the crisis.
In a 316-page affidavit in the Supreme Court, the centre has justified the imposition of President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. In its response to the Apex Court's notice earlier, the centre said there was a complete breakdown of governance and law and order in the state. The centre also said that the governor of Arunachal Pradesh and his family apprehended grave danger to their lives daily. The centre's allegation in the affidavit have been directed at former Chief Minister Nabam Tuki and the former Speaker Nabam Rebia, who it alleges are playing communal politics against Governor Jyoti Prasad Rajkhowa.
वो तो प्री प्लान गवर्नर को प्लान करके भेजा हुआ था कि वहाँ जो ऑलरेडी वो गवर्नर बैठा हुआ को शिफ्ट किया मिजोरम भेज के नया गवर्नर लाया और उसको उसी दिन से पहला दिन से वो कार्रवाई शुरू करने दे दिया है.
Elaborating indicators of constitutional breakdown, the centre said that the governor's letters or references to the chief minister on matters of public importance concerning state administration were mostly not responded to in violation of Article 167B of the Constitution. Further, the centre also alleges that the chief minister has been encouraging indiscipline, lawlessness, politicking by government officials by inciting, provoking and funding an apex communal organisation of one community. It also alleges the organisation, mainly comprising government officials, have been provoked to publicly organize demonstrations, rallies for recall, removal and resignation of incumbent governor.
Governor is empowered to call the assembly at any other place. So, in an auditorium of a hotel, he called the thing and found that he had lost majority. So he asked the chief minister to submit his resignation, which he refused to do. So therefore, report went to the center.
With regard to the situation, political situation in Arunachal Pradesh, the Congress party will have to answer. Because after all, dissidence was in their ranks. The assembly session became disputed because of the activities there.
Meanwhile, the Arunachal governor has allocated departments to his advisors G.S. Patnaik and Y.S. Dadwal. Both the advisors were appointed by the centre to assist the governor in his functioning after the imposition of president's rule in the state on January 26. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the government will not eliminate all subsidies but will rationalize and target them to the needy. While addressing the Economic Times Global Business Summit in Delhi, he also took a dig at the economists and corporates, saying that any dole for the industries is called an incentive or a subvention, while for those for the farmers, it is derogatorily called a subsidy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said there cannot be an ideological position on matters such as elimination of subsidies. Addressing the ET Global Business Summit in New Delhi on Friday, the Prime Minister said that unnecessary controls and distortion of subsidies will be eliminated and the government will target subsidies to the needy. Modi also promised efficiency in allocation of resources as well as creation of opportunities for citizens to progress.
We have to eliminate bad subsidies, whether or not they are called subsidies. But some subsidies may be necessary to protect the poor and the needy and given them a fair chance to succeed. Hence, my aim is not to eliminate subsidies, but to rationalize and target them.
Underscoring the significance of reforms that impact the lives of citizens, Modi said true reforms are those that lead to transformation of people's lives. Modi also said that the global economy is going through a period of uncertainty and in a connected world, actions of one country affect another.
Between domestic affairs and foreign affairs is increasingly losing relevance. For a country in the modern day, it is not sufficient that its economic policies should only address its domestic priorities. To me, India's policies must be such that they make a positive contribution to the rest of the world.
The government is targeting award of 10,000 kilometers of highway projects in 2016, which is a leap from the 3,500 kilometer awarded in 2013-14 under the previous UPA regime. The Prime Minister also informed that over 200 million unbanked people have been brought under the Jan Dhan Yojana and the accounts today have a balance exceeding 30,000 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And ahead of the budget, RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan has warned against generating economic growth through additional debt. He said that any deviation from the fiscal consolidation path will hurt the stability of the economy. Rajan said that macroeconomic stability during the global turmoil cannot be risked and the government and the RBI should continue to bring down inflation. Rajan cautioned that as Brazil's experience suggests, the enormous costs of becoming an unstable country outweigh any small growth benefits that can be obtained through aggressive policies. Now, speaking at another event, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that 8% GDP growth can be achieved next fiscal on account of improved rural demand and better monsoon, even as he urged the opposition parties not to play games in Parliament when it comes to passage of bills to initiate key reforms.
I would say, given the inhospitable world economy and the fact that we've had two crippling droughts that would have sent our economy off track any time in the past, the fact that we still have managed 7+% growth rebounds to the credit of the government in all that it has done. In ensuring that we have that kind of growth, we have low inflation and we have low current account deficit.
Well, news from the BJP camp. After bitter defeat in Delhi and Bihar, the party appears hopeful about the assembly elections in Assam. The party wants to avoid confusion and is trying to form a clear strategy before the elections. For this very reason, BJP has declared Sarbanand Sonowal as its chief ministerial candidate well before time. In Delhi, the party had declared Kiran Bedi as its chief ministerial candidate at the last moment, and in Bihar, it could not project any credible leadership. And the BJP Parliamentary Board took the decision at its meeting in New Delhi on Thursday. Well, our correspondent Pranav Goswami spoke to Sonowal. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
We've been seeing that Congress has been ruling for last 15 years, and we've also seen that pro-incumbency factor is actually is in favor of Congress. What do you think that BJP has got chances? Why you think that BJP has got chances in this election?
BJP can bring changes to the life of the people of Assam. That confidence is there in the mindset of the people of Assam. So that's why for the development, for the good governance, for the security of life and property, and also the identity of the people of Assam, this time people of Assam have decided to bring BJP into power.
And sir, you had alliance with AGP in previous elections. Will you be going with AGP again in this coming election? Because in Lok Sabha election, AGP and BJP fought, they were not together. And do you think that or BJP will go alone for assembly election?
Now we are having discussion with all the local parties, minus Congress, minus AODF. We have been trying to take everybody into confidence.
And what are going to be the main issues for BJP in this election, specifically on IMDT Act? What will be your issue regarding this?
Yeah, of course, illegal migrant will be a major issue, and at the same time, development, as I have already said, good governance and security. So these are the important issues we are going to take it up, because the people of Assam want the protection of identity, political identity, social identity, cultural identity, etc., etc. So that's a very important point for all of the people of Assam living in Barak Valley and Brahmaputra Valley. So, and for the employment opportunity and also the developing entrepreneurship for the youth. So that's why development will be one of the major agenda. At the same time, during the Congress regime, there was massive corruption and malpractices. So that is why people become insecure from all angles. So that's why people want good governance.
And very optimistic that this time BJP will perform well in Assam Assembly election. Pranav Goswami, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And now let's take a look at the events that are lined up for the day in the day ahead. Today is the 68th death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. President, Vice President and Prime Minister and other dignitaries will pay tributes to the father of the nation at Rajghat today. Union Minister for Water Resources and Ganga Rejuvenation, Uma Bharti, will inaugurate the National Convention on Swachh Ganga in New Delhi today. The ministry is urging for larger public participation in the centre's mission for ensuring a minimum ecological flow to rejuvenate the Ganges. On the second day of a visit to Mumbai, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will interact with students, small traders and also women's self-help groups. Swaraj is on a two-day visit to Mumbai as part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's directive to his ministers to reach out to the people on the work done by the government. Well, in the news at 10, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the international news and sports news. Stay tuned.
JNU has a political, different kind of people have different opinions. But I think media is not looking at the academic activism which I called in JNU. Which is much, much stronger than what is reflected in the media.
Watch Eureka with Professor S.K. Soburi, former Vice Chancellor, JNU, on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back onto the big international story on the Zika scare. And the Brazilian president has said that her country is losing its battle against the Zika virus. More than 2 lakh soldiers will now join a nationwide effort on 13th of February to eliminate mosquito infestations. Now, this comes as the country prepares to host the 2016 Olympics. Meanwhile, Canada has confirmed 4 Zika cases in the country, while the WHO has said that India could also be at risk.
Estamos perdendo a luta contra o mosquito. Por quê? Porque enquanto o mosquito reproduzir-se, todos nós estamos perdendo a luta contra o mosquito. Então, nós temos de nos mobilizar para ganhar a luta.
Brazil pressing the alarm bell as 1.65 million people in the country have been infected by the Zika virus. 863 deaths have been reported so far. The World Health Organization has already warned that the virus is spreading explosively and up to 4 million people are likely to be infected this year.
As of today, cases have been reported in 23 countries and territories in the region. The level of alarm is extremely high.
É que se tornou caso que não é só do Brasil, é da América Latina também e de outros países. Necessariamente, nós estamos diante da possibilidade de haver uma situação internacional.
On February 13, more than 2 lakh Brazilian soldiers will join a nationwide effort to eliminate mosquito infestations, and battalions have begun specialized training. The worry over the virus has also been compounded with the Olympic Games slated to be held in Rio in August. Meanwhile, El Salvador has launched an education campaign against Zika after cases of the mosquito-borne virus touched 6,000 in the country. Women have also been asked to avoid getting pregnant till 2018. A Venezuelan man became the first confirmed case of Zika in Peru and is recovering from the illness at his home in Lima. Venezuela has detected 255 cases linked to the Zika virus. The country says it is in short supply of the antibody immunoglobulin. Panama health officials have warned that Zika virus could spread across the country from 50 cases confirmed in the northeast. Cuba's public health ministry has, however, confirmed there are no cases of Zika detected on the island. Canada, however, has confirmed 4 of its nationals have been infected from traveling to affected countries. The fear that Brazilian researchers in the middle of finding a cure for the virus have is that it may also spread through the common mosquito. According to the WHO, India could also be at risk. The centre has decided to constitute a technical group to monitor the situation.
एक हाई लेवल की टेक्निकल कमेटी बने, जिस टेक्निकल कमेटी में हमें सजेशंस और हमारे को रियल टाइम एक्शन क्या लेना है इसके बारे में जानकारी तुरंत हमको दी जाए, और इसकी बैठक आज शुरू भी हो गई है. इसमें WHO के प्रतिनिधि होंगे, इसमें टेक्निकल एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप हैं उनके प्रतिनिधि होंगे, इसमें नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ वायरोलॉजी है उसके भी प्रतिनिधि होंगे.
The infection is caused by the mosquito bite. Common symptoms of the Zika disease are fever, rash, joint pain or conjunctivitis. Symptoms typically start 2 to 7 days after the mosquito bite. Zika was first detected in Uganda in 1947, but an outbreak of this scale was never reported. It has no vaccine at the moment, but the US says it hopes to start human vaccine trials by the end of 2016. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
News from the Middle East now. The main Syrian opposition has said that it will be joining UN-sponsored peace talks being held in Geneva to end the 5-year-old war in the country. Now, UN envoy Staffan de Mistura has already met the Syrian government's delegation. Now, he's hopeful of holding talks with the opposition groups on Sunday.
The United Nations-sponsored peace talks to end the 5-year-old war in Syria began in Geneva. There is now hope of a forward movement, this time with the main opposition group, the High Negotiations Committee, agreeing to attend the talks. But their condition is to discuss humanitarian issues before engaging in political negotiations.
Our, let us say, negotiation team is going to Geneva, probably tomorrow, to be physically there, to control if the regime will apply what we consider that he must do.
The Kurdish Democratic Union Party, PYD, will also be attending the talks.
الأمور نضجت دوليا في توافق دولي مبدئيا للحل ومتفق والدول الإقليمية عم يجري فيها تغيير بطيء لسلوكها ومحليا صار في عنا شو اسمه.
More than 250,000 people have died and 11 million have fled their homes in almost 5 years of war in Syria. Forced to his rule battle each other as well as jihadist militants from the IS. The talks are expected to last for 6 months, with delegations sitting in separate rooms and United Nations officials shuttling between them.
I have good reasons to believe that they are actually considering this very seriously, and therefore to be in a position on probably Sunday to actually start the discussions with them and in order to be able to proceed with the intra-Syrian talk.
The immediate priorities of the talks are a broad ceasefire, humanitarian aid deliveries and halting the threat posed by the terror group the IS. But the ultimate aim is a peace settlement that includes a transitional period ending with elections in line with the UN Security Council resolution approved last month. The last talks aimed at ending the conflict broke down in February 2014 after only 2 rounds, with the UN blaming the government for refusing to discuss an opposition demand for President Assad to step down. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more international news and updates in World Wrap. The US State Department has said that Hillary Clinton's unsecured home server contained more than a dozen emails deemed as top secret. 7 email chains are being withheld from a release for including top secret information. Hillary's use of a personal email as Secretary of State has become an issue in her presidential campaign. Hillary Clinton, who served as the Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013, has long maintained that she will not send or receive information that was classified at the time. 4 Chinese miners who had been trapped underground for 36 days were rescued on Friday. The men were trapped by a cave-in at Jimsum mine in Shandong province on 25th of December. 29 people were initially trapped by the collapse. 15 have now been rescued and 1 has been confirmed dead, while 13 are still missing. A hand grenade was thrown at an asylum shelter in southern Germany on Friday. The grenade, which was found during the night, had its pin pulled out, but the explosives failed to detonate. The asylum seekers were evacuated while the hand grenade was destroyed in a controlled detonation. Authorities say that the attack on migrant hostels has increased by 5 times as compared to last year. A record 1.1 million people had sought asylum in Germany last year. At least 4 people were killed and 18 others were wounded in a suicide bomb attack on a Shia mosque in eastern Saudi Arabia. No one has yet officially claimed responsibility for the attack, but it resembled the previous attacks by Sunni militants from Islamic State. Well, the attack came less than a month after Sunni-ruled Saudi Arabia executed 47 people, most of them Al-Qaeda militants. And news from the sporting world. Well, Serena Williams will look to win a record equaling 22 Grand Slam titles when she faces Angelique Kerber in the Australian Open women's single final today. Now, Serena has been in imperious form this season and is yet to drop a set in the tournament. The world number 1 crushed 5-time Grand Slam champion Maria Sharapova and Agnieszka Radwanska en route to the final. German 7th seed Kerber, on the other hand, is playing in her first Grand Slam final. The 28-year-old has won just once in their previous 6 meetings with Serena. And a victory on Saturday would see Serena draw level with Steffi Graf's Open-era record of 22 Grand Slam titles and put her within 2 of Margaret Court's all-time mark of 24.
He does it in style.
Meanwhile, there was good news for India from the world of cricket. The men's team beat Australia by 27 runs in the second T20 to take an unassailable 2-0 lead in their 3-match series. Also, Indian Eves created history with a 10-wicket win over the Australian team, sealing their first bilateral series victory over the Australian women team in any format.
India recorded their first ever bilateral series triumph on Australian soil as they clinched the 2020 rubber by taking an unassailable 2-0 lead. India took the lead with a comprehensive 27-run victory in the second match, riding on an all-round show. Put into bat, India relied on brilliant half-centuries from Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, along with a useful 42 by opener Shikhar Dhawan, posting a formidable 184 for 3.
As I said, you need more individuals who can do more than one job on the field. And especially if all of them are good fielders, and then if they can contribute with the bat and the ball if needed. Just adds on to the strength of the side.
Defending the target, the Indian bowlers kept the Australian batsmen under check despite initial setbacks and bad fielding, restricting the hosts to 157 for 8 in 20 overs. Jasprit Bumrah once again impressed with the ball, picking up 2 wickets. Ravindra Jadeja and Ravichandran Ashwin chipped in to pile on the misery for the Australians.
In a T20 game, you need to bowl 1 over. And if you're bowling that 1 over, once the captain has given you 1 over, irrespective whether it goes good or bad, 1 over is out of equation. So that actually helps you, that 1 over, by the time the batsman picks what really is happening, what the bowler is looking to do, you can get rid of that 1 over. And in a way, it also helps us, because Pandya was also bowling at that point of time. I thought, he also bowled decently well. So,
Australia got off to an explosive start with Aaron Finch firing on all cylinders. He scored 74 off just 48 balls but failed to get support from the other batsmen. India thus took a 2-0 lead in the 3-match series, which ends on Sunday in Sydney. This was India's first ever bilateral series win down under. The Indians had earlier won a tri-series in 2007-2008 and the Benson and Hedges World Championship in 1985. Earlier, all eyes were on the Indian Eves, who created history at the MCG. With a 10-wicket win, they sealed their first bilateral series victory over Australian women in any format. In the rain-affected contest, the Australians reached 8 for 125 from 18 overs, but failed to take a wicket, and India reached their revised target of 66 with 5 balls to spare. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here is some more sporting action now in the Sports Beat. India secured their 11th Olympic quota from shooting after Ionica Ball bagged the silver in women's 10 meters air rifle at the Asia Olympic qualifying competition. The 23-year-old Commonwealth Games silver medalist finished on the podium after she shot 205.9 in the 8-woman final. India have equaled the number of quotas it secured ahead of the 2012 London Olympics. Vishwanathan Anand won his second game in a row in the third round of the Masters section of the Gibraltar Chess Congress. Anand scored a crushing victory over Xiangshu Zhu of China and jumped to join the 12th spot with the 7 rounds still remaining. Meanwhile, a Grandmaster Dronewali Harika secured a sensational victory over former world champion challenger Nigel Short of England. Wayne Rooney, Daley Blind and Juan Mata were on target as Manchester United beat Derby County 3-1 in the FA Cup 4th round. The win relieved the pressure on manager Louis van Gaal, who has been under fire for teams' poor performances in the recent games. Well, that's all in this edition of news, but news and updates continue on your channel. Thanks for watching.